guys, it's Hillary, your certified Enneagram coach. Welcome back to my channel, Enneagram and Coaching, and today I have a special treat for you because we are going to go over the pet peeves of each Enneagram type. Have you ever wondered why certain people get annoyed or triggered or angry about certain things, but they don't even bother you at all? Well, I have a feeling it's because each type have different pet peeves that affect them. And if you're like me, a couple of your own pet peeves just came right to your mind. You're like, yeah, I can think of some pet peeves that I might have. So we all have unique fears and desires and struggles, but what makes us each just fume, get under our skin? Well, that's what I'm going to cover today, a brief teaching on the pet peeves of each type. Now, I do want to say you might feel like you relate to more than just one type, and I don't want this to confuse you and you think, wait, am I a type 1 because I related more to the type 5? That's not what this is for. This is just for you to help understand yourself a little better and then also understand the people in your life. This by no means will type you, because typing depends on your core fears and core desires, and that's not what pet peeves are. So now that I got that covered, let's dive in. Okay, so here are some of the pet peeves of each type. Type 1, the perfectionist. Laziness, people not doing their own part, people not saying please or thank you, rule breakers, people chewing with their mouth open, stuff like that. It's that kind of stuff just kind of gets right on their nerves. And I know I have a few type 1s in my life, and when I asked them this question, they completely agreed and were like, yes, those things trigger me. So what do you think? If you're a type 1, do these trigger you? Let me know in the comments below. And actually, as I go through all of the types, just let me know in the comments below which one stands most out to you. Okay, so moving on to the type 2, the helper. When I asked some of my friends, one of the biggest words that came up was selfishness. They cannot stand others being selfish. Other things that came up were when people put their own self-interest above others, being taken advantage of. Not only that, just being taken advantage of, but their generosity being taken advantage of. Because, they do have that helper title and they love to help, but they do not want to be taken advantage of. And so those were some of the things that came up as I was asking around about the pet peeves of a 2. All right, so moving on to the type 3. A big word for them was passive aggressiveness. They do not like people that are passive aggressive. They really need people to be more direct with them and just tell them how it is. And so that was a big one for them. Also, they cannot stand when they are going after a goal and it gets blocked. I mean, they are just in the zone, going, getting things done. I mean, they're the achiever, right? And so when their goals get blocked, it literally drives them crazy. And then another one that came up was they do not like their time wasted. And so they don't mind giving it away, but they do not want it wasted. They are super efficient when healthy. And so those are the things that were the biggest pet peeves that came up. Okay, so moving on to the type 4, the romantic individualist. A big word that came up as I was doing my research was the word shallowness. They do not, that is just such a pet peeve with them. They want genuineness, they want authenticness, they do not want fake or shallowness from other people. And it just really bothers them. And another thing is when they're talking, they do not want to talk about the weather. They want to go deep. They want to talk about meaningful things. And so the shallowness there drives them crazy. It is a huge pet peeve. And the last thing they said was they don't like being labeled dramatic. So, which I could totally understand why that could bother a type 4, because they're not dramatic. Literally, they just have the deepest feelings, and so those can get mislabeled sometimes. Okay, so moving on to the type 5, the investigator. One big one. Now this one was super easy for me to do research on because my son is a type 5, and his biggest pet peeve is when I tell him, hey, tonight we have to go to so-and-so's house and do this, or tonight we're doing this, or tomorrow we're gonna do this. And so what bothers him is these social engagements that he has to do, but he wasn't made aware of until the last minute. I have learned not to just spring things on him. It drives him crazy. It's a huge pet peeve and it makes him angry. And another thing that came up was being pressured to make decisions fast. Remember guys, they're investigators. They need a lot of time to investigate all the possibilities. And so when we go up, when we're talking to a 5 and we're like, hey, what do you want? This, or this? And we're like, and I need to know I need to know yesterday. super pet peeve, like drives them crazy. Even going back to a story about my son, we just got him a car, and I will say he probably researched it for over a year before he made his decision. And so he knew, you know, the guidelines that we set and that he had to be in, but it took him a long time to make that decision because, again, they're investigators. They want to research everything. And so that would have been super hard if I was like, hey, you know, we're going to buy you a car today. What car do you want? I can't even imagine what he probably just would have shut down. So no, that would not have went well. Okay, so the type 6, the loyalist. A big one for them was wishy-washy people, even flaky people. Those are hard for them. They need to be able to trust others, and they also cannot stand it when speed is prioritized over careful planning. Super big pet peeve. They don't want to have to move fast. They want to be able to look at all the plan A, plan B, plan C and make an educated decision. And they want to be valued for who they are and for what they say and their words. And so that when they're not valued, they can pick up on that right away, and it's a big, big trigger for them. All right, so moving on to the type 7, the enthusiast. Now, I have seen this time and time again when I go and teach the Enneagram. I pretty much can pick out the 7s in the room sometimes because they cannot stand it when meetings drag on and on. Like, that is such a huge trigger for them. Because why? Because boredom. That is another trigger. They don't want to be bored. They don't like repetition. And another one for them is when, you know, maybe they're working or doing a project, but people don't understand, like, they're hard workers, but they also have a need for fun. And they, you know, it's a pet peeve if you can't have fun while working. All right, so moving on, type 8, the challenger. Some of their pet peeves: slow drivers, bad drivers. I know my husband's a type 8, and when he's in the car, he is super aware of anybody making any mistakes at any time. He's like, oh, and it drives him crazy. It triggers him. But I don't know about you, if you're a type 8, let me know in the comments below. He will not use his horn. I am a type 9 and I use my horn, which is weird, but I do. But he won't. He'll yell. He'll get angry and yell. And I'm like, wait, that's not doing anything. They can't hear you. So now you know how fights start with us. But anyways, the bad driving, that really triggers them. Being micromanaged, that's super hard for an 8. And then also being thought of as controlling, because a lot of times they're like, no, we just know maybe the best plan ahead. And they want that to be respected and not be thought of as trying to control everything, because that's not their intent. They're not trying to control, but a lot of times, you know, they just maybe think that, oh wait, but I do know the best way to do it. And so they just, you know, don't like the word controlling all the time. They already have to deal with the word, you know, challenger. And so I can see why they're like, come on, pick a different word. So. But okay, so we are at the last one, the type 9, the peacemaker, mine. So if I just asked myself, what are my pet peeves? But then I did do research too. And a big one for me is being talked over. If I'm in a conversation, I'm not gonna talk a lot anyways, and when I do, if somebody talks over me, I immediately shut down and I don't say anything else. And then it really makes me angry if they don't even notice. If they're okay with me not saying anything else, then I realize you never valued my opinion. And that is a huge trigger for me. Another one is when I'm talking to somebody, but when I could tell they're listening to answer and they're not actually listening to me. So we want to be listened to. It's a pet peeve of ours, you know. If we're gonna make the effort to talk and to be a part of the conversation, which is already daunting for us sometimes, if the person is just listening so that they can share their own story, it's a big pet peeve, huge trigger for me. And the last one I would say is being taken for granted. You know, I am a peacemaker, you know, I can come across super easygoing, and I am super easygoing, but don't take advantage of that. That hurts, it hurts my feelings. And I can imagine, if you're type 9 out there, what do you think? It hurts our feelings to be taken advantage of, because we wanna be able to be kind and loving and peaceful and easygoing, but not be taken advantage of. Okay guys, so that's all I have. Those are the pet peeves. It was just a super easy, you know, a few things for each type, because, you know, I don't want this to be an hour-long video. Let me know, what are your pet peeves? Did you resonate with these, or, you know, whatever, if it made you laugh or whatever, leave it in the comments below. I'd love to see what you thought and if you related at all. And if you have others that you thought of, put them in the comments below so we can help each other. I think that would be great. Okay guys, don't forget to subscribe. We are almost at 1,000, we're getting there. I would appreciate it if you would just hit that subscribe button if you wanna see more. And also give it a thumbs up if you like the video. You can find me on Instagram, Hillary_McCaskey_coaching. And I also have another Instagram, Enneagram and Coaching, that I need to start putting stuff on, and I'm trying to. And I have a website, enneagramandcoaching.com. Those are the 3 places that you can find me the fastest. And until next time, guys, bye! I've said too many times. Biggest pet peeve. No. I hate that I laugh so weird. I hate all the editing I have to do because of my inefficientness.